P to the G, man. And I'm here with the
Shafrasana.
Okay, and we back with another Mr. Ballin' reaction.
Yeah.
We like that top 3 places you can't go, but people went anyways. So we just gotta come back to it, man. And part 1 was so crazy. Oh, sorry, we watched part 1, and now we had to go straight to part 2. So without wasting time, man, we're just gonna get straight into it. Let's go.
And to believe that everywhere in the world is accessible if I just had the time, the money, or maybe both. But today, I'm going to shatter that illusion and share with you a top 3 list of places you can't go, no matter how much time or money you may have. And for each of these locations, I'll share with you an instance of people going there anyways and what happened to them. Spoiler, it didn't end well. But before we get into today's top 3 list, if you're a fan of the strange, dark, and mysterious delivered in story format, then you've come to the right place, because that's all I do, and I upload 3, 4, even 5 times every week. If that's of interest to you, please throw the like button into the Devil's Kettle in Minnesota.
Wait, I ain't going. Oh, sorry, I don't want to go the like part. But,
every week.
But I was gonna say, is he still doing?
No, now it's 1 time a week.
Yeah, okay. I'm about to say, I'm like.
But also he has like a pod. He has different things. Before it was just posting.
Okay. So he working.
Yeah.
Okay.
So it's pretty much, I believe, like posting a lot, but in a different way, different platform.
Damn. That's a price of success, man. But I wish he'd go back to the old way so we could just get 5 of these. But we got a lot to react to anyway. So he
posted anyway a lot.
Yeah, so. he gave us a lot to, you know what I mean? So anyway, let's keep going.
If that's of interest to you, please throw the like button into the Devil's Kettle in Minnesota, and then subscribe to my channel and turn on all notifications so you don't miss any of my weekly uploads. Okay. All right, let's get into today's stories.
Okay, let's see.
And like we said, don't forget to like and subscribe to us as well. Let's go.
Yeah.
Okay.
Lush, heavily There is this tiny, lush, heavily forested, beautiful island 93 miles off the coast of Brazil that no matter how beautiful it looks, no one will go to this island. In fact, you're not allowed to go to it because the Brazilian Navy has forbid it. So the legend of this island really began in the early 1900s when a local fisherman was off the coast of the island and saw right on the edge of the forest were these beautiful banana trees with all these bananas that were ripe and ready to be picked. And he thought, I can easily pull my boat over to those rocks over there, hop out, grab some bananas, and bring them home. No problem. That'll take me, 10 minutes to do. And so he pulls over by himself to get these bananas. He anchors his boat. He walks up the beach. He climbs up the tree, and he starts hacking down some bananas. And while he's up there, he suddenly feels a sharp pain on his rib cage. And he falls out of the tree, and he looks down, and he's bleeding out of his rib cage because he can see it on his shirt. There's blood on his shirt. Was there a branch that jabbed me on the side? Like, what was that? He's alone. He's 93 miles from the mainland. And so in a panic, he ditches the bananas. He runs to his boat, gets it unanchored, and starts making his way back to the mainland. But on the trek back, he passes out in the boat. Later that day, another group of fishermen see this boat kind of drifting around near some rocks, and it looks like something's wrong, so they make their way over to it, and there's this fisherman who went to get the bananas, but he's lying on his back. He's clearly dead, and he's in a pool of his own blood. 20 years after this incident, there was a lighthouse keeper that was assigned to work on this island, and he brought his family with him. They were staying in the main house of the lighthouse, and it was going fine for the first couple of days they were there. But at some point, captains of vessels that would drive past this island and relied on that lighthouse noticed that the light wasn't on. And so they reported it to the mainland, and a search party was sent out to check on the lighthouse keeper and his family to make sure that they had all their supplies and that they were okay. When they get to the lighthouse, they find the entire family is dead in their bed. And the only clue they had were these puncture marks all over the bodies of these deceased lighthouse keepers and an open window. So what killed these people that went to this island? Technically, they died from a poison that literally melts your organs within 60 minutes of coming in contact. But that poison comes from a very famous venomous snake called the golden lancehead viper that only exists on this island. They exist nowhere else in the world. And this island has been dubbed Snake Island. And since nobody goes to this island, the lancehead viper population has exploded. They are thriving on this island. In fact, researchers say that there's at least 3,000 of these venomous snakes that live on this island, and for every 1 square meter of the island, there is a snake. Which means if you're on this island, you're always within 1 meter of something.
Oh, no, thank you. I will die.
Aren't just on the ground either, because their primary food source are birds. And so the snakes have begun to live in the trees and catch birds that land in the trees. Meaning, if you happen to be walking on this densely forested island, you'd be surrounded almost 360 degrees by these wickedly venomous snakes.
That's crazy.
And if you are bit, you have 60 minutes to get the antidote. If you don't, you're doomed 100% of the time. Nowadays, the only people that go to this island are the Navy, who replace the batteries in the lighthouse, which is now automated because it's too dangerous to be there. They go once a year to replace those batteries. Researchers occasionally go there. And you have poachers that go to try to catch some of these snakes because they're so rare. They can sell on the black market for $10,000 to $30,000 US. But many of these poachers that manage to sneak onto the island just get bit by these spiders and die. So there you go.
No, man.
That was crazy.
Honestly, sometimes money, I would say fuck that.
Yeah, that is not no.
They lost me at snake.
They said 10. They lost me at 10,000.
Me lost a snake. Even if it was just one snake on that island, I will never.
That'd be worse if there was one snake on the island though, because you gotta go find that motherfucker. Like nah, that whole thing was crazy.
Oh wow.
Yeah, Ramree Island. Let us know in the comments what you thought about that one, because she's like definitely afraid of snakes. So like,
no.
So we know water and snakes.
I can really not even watch a doc about snakes or whatever. Like I cannot even watch on TV.
You just did. You did a good job.
Yeah, but it was just like a little. It was not too much.
You mean like some National Geographic you can't watch?
Oh yeah, no.
A day in the life.
No, I cannot do a day in the life.
Okay.
In early 1945, during World War II, the British decided they wanted to take back Ramree Island from the Japanese. Ramree Island is a fairly large...
That's just how they feel one day. They're like, you know what? We want that land now. What? Okay. Yep. Or do they have it already?
Yeah, they take it back.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I take it back.
Ramree Island from the Japanese. Ramree Island is a fairly large, totally flat island off the coast of Burma that was a great staging location to fly air campaigns onto the mainland. So it was a great air base. And the British had actually owned this island, but the Japanese had taken it back from them in 1942. And so here they are in 1945 looking to take it back. So on January 21st, 1945, British and Indian infantry stormed the beaches of Ramree to try to take it back. As soon as they land, they have all this naval artillery support just bombing the crap out of this airbase, and it was just a matter of time before they overwhelmed the remaining Japanese. But the Japanese do not want to surrender, and instead they give up the airbase that they were on, so the British take that back, and the remaining 1,000 Japanese soldiers started retreating to the opposite end of the island, to where there was a much larger battalion of Japanese soldiers that they could meet up with. But the only issue with this particular retreat was they would have to go through 10 miles of mangrove swamp where there's poisonous spiders and insects and deep mud, making it almost impossible to move. But they're determined and they head off into the swamp. But what the Japanese were not ready for is what Ramree Island is famous for. A creature that makes poisonous snakes and spiders and insects look like child's play. And they were walking directly into its den. The British troops decided we're not going to go chasing them into the swamp. Instead, what they did is they set up boats, blocking positions outside of the swamp. If any of the Japanese tried to escape, they would be there waiting. And so the only way the Japanese could get out of there would be to go to the absolute other end, 10 miles away, where their Japanese counterparts were. So that night, as the British are just kind of hanging out in their boats, staring at the swamp, they start hearing screams coming from inside of the swamp. And it's Japanese soldiers. Then you hear gunfire, and then silence. And then it would start all over again, all over this huge swamp, with just screams, gunfire, silence. Scream.
That sounds like the scene from a Predator movie.
Yeah. It's a horror movie.
Get to the chopper!
Fire, silence. And the British are watching this.
They're like, yo.
Do we have troops in there?
Yeah, I mean.
What was going on?
It's not working
for defined by the Guinness Book of World Records records as the largest massacre of humans caused by animals.
Oh,
And
shit.
not just any animal,
Wow.
saltwater crocodiles. These massive man-eating crocodiles can weigh up to 1,000 kilograms or
Whoa.
2,200 pounds. They can grow to be 7 meters in length or about 23 feet in length.
Wow.
And National
Wow.
Geographic has labeled these crocodiles as the most likely to eat a human of all animals. And
Wow.
Ramree Island has the largest population of saltwater crocodiles in the world. And they all lived inside of the swamp that the Japanese had gone into.
That's
A lot of
crazy.
them were bleeding from the battle they were in. And so they were literally
Smell it.
alerting hundreds of saltwater crocodiles to their location. Saltwater crocodiles are
Wow.
notorious night hunters. So what probably happened is the
was
Japanese
perfect.
got inside of this mangrove. The crocodiles were immediately aware of their presence, but
Yeah.
they waited until nighttime before they started having a feeding frenzy. And over the course of the
Wow.
night, a
That's
number of Japanese
crazy.
soldiers had jumped out the sides of the swamp, exposing themselves to the British. And so about 20 of them were captured, and they said that they were completely surrounded by these crocodiles, that everywhere you looked, there were growling, huge crocodiles eating one person, and as soon as they were done, they would just charge after you and eat you. And at the
Yes.
end
Wow.
of their retreat, when the Japanese did get to the other side of the swamp, only 500 of the 1,000 made it out the other side.
Dang.
And so to this
Wow.
day, people stay far away from Ramree Island.
Yeah.
So many of these man-eating saltwater
Damn.
crocodiles that have no issue ripping you to shreds.
Wow.
They chomped on 500 people.
With the guns, with
Quickly.
everything. Like,
Quickly. Like,
wow.
they decided to wait till nighttime. When that sun dropped,
They're ready.
they was on their ass. That's crazy.
That's crazy.
No, that's worse than
I never heard this story.
me either. That's crazy.
That's crazy.
Mr. Ballin, you did it again.
Yeah.
On November 14th, 2018, John Chau hired 2 fishermen to take him out to this little island in the Indian Ocean. The fishermen were
Okay.
not excited about this, not only because it was illegal to take him out to the island, but because the last time some fishermen had gone to this island, they had both died. But the fishermen needed the money, and so they went with John, and they drove under the cover of darkness to this island, and they anchored a little ways offshore. The next morning, when the sun came up, John asked the fishermen to take him in a little bit closer, but the fishermen refused. So John puts a kayak in the water, and he begins paddling into this island. And as he gets close to the actual beach, he sees someone come out of the forest who has their face painted yellow, and they're screeching at the top of their lungs. And John yells out that he's not threatening them, he just wants to come ashore and talk to them. And then a wave of people with yellow painted faces come charging out of the wood line and start firing arrows in his direction. So John, in a panic, turns around and paddles right back out to the fishing boat.
Yeah.
Later that day, John tries to make another attempt at landing on this island and communicating with the people that live there. So he takes his kayak and he goes down a little bit farther away from where those people had emerged from the tree line earlier in the day and shot him with arrows. He figured he was a little bit farther out of arrow range this way. He lands his kayak, he gets out, and the same group of people come out farther down the beach.
You
where they
said
had
John?
been before. They see John. They all start looking at each other and they start screeching and running down the beach towards John. John stands there until they come all the way up to him. They don't shoot him with arrows, but they take his kayak, and they don't really know what to make of him. They're staring at him. They start speaking to each other in a language John doesn't understand. And then at some point, a child pulls his bow and arrow out and fires a bow directly at John. And he was holding a Bible, and he stopped the arrow with his Bible. And at that point, John is like, okay, I gotta go. And he jumps in the water without a kayak, has to swim a mile to get back to the fishing boat.
Dang.
The whole time, these people are firing arrows arbitrarily
wow.
in his direction as he's swimming back out to the boat. And so
That's
the
crazy.
next day, on November 16th, he told the fishermen he wanted them to drop him off, and he would swim in, and he wanted them to leave and be completely out of sight. The fishermen did not want to do this, but John
Why?
reassured them that he was going to be just fine.
He is a missionary. And he is trying to get the word.
Sometimes people don't want to be out.
I thought Jehovah's Witnesses were annoying. This dude is level 10. Like he
Sometimes people don't want.
they hear that shit. It's like, they don't hear that shit.
Don't need any help.
Right?
He knew what he was doing, and so the fishermen drop him off and they leave. The next day, when the fishermen come back to collect John, They see these people with painted yellow faces out on the beach dragging his body by a rope.
Wow.
No one knows exactly what happened to John, how they killed him. There's lots of speculation about how it went down, but it's too dangerous for anyone to go back and
ask
retrieve his
him.
body, and so his body remains at North Sentinel Island.
Oh, that's
the
crazy.
few hundred people that live on North Sentinel Island that were responsible for killing John Chau, they're referred to as the Sentinelese, and they are unbelievably primitive. They are completely cut off from the modern world. They live a hunter-gatherer lifestyle. They have no conception of agriculture. They haven't even discovered fire yet. They literally have to wait for lightning to strike and then run and collect the embers and try to keep the embers alive. Researchers believe that the Sentinelese are direct descendants from the earliest human ancestors that came out of Africa. And as much as we'd like to learn more about the Sentinelese, we probably won't, because they aggressively resist outside contact. They won't even let the other similarly primitive neighboring island tribes to come on their island. The Sentinelese want only Sentinelese on that island.
Wow.
No one else can be there. If you're not a Sentinelese and you try to go to their island, they'll just kill you. So let me know what you think of these 3 crazy locations, and let me know.
Wow, I didn't know that.
Yeah, hold on. Yeah, for surely. All right. That was Mr. Bond's actually on top of his
Cool
game.
stories.
Yeah, like for real. Like
Cool stories.
man, this is why he got us watch them in the first place. Because I think we started watching a different playlist or something.
It was really random.
Yeah, oh yeah, that's what it was. We just started
Because
watching
we
random,
love this, kind of storyteller.
Right.
We were looking for something to watch, just chill.
Yeah, we never actually watched.
Just chill and watching
before.
something together,
Right.
Yeah.
But this one was crazy.
But that was crazy.
Bro. Like, wow.
Yeah.
Yeah. Sometimes you gotta just let people do what people want to do. Like he had 3 clear warnings they wanted to be left alone, and he didn't listen to any of them. So I'm not saying he deserved it. I'm just saying the universe.
Nobody deserves it.
Yeah, the universe always. Not even the universe. Sometimes people will give you signs to leave them alone. That's sad that they couldn't get his body and bring him back home to his family, though.
At least that, especially because he was a missionary, so
Right, he definitely
religious
proper
person,
burial.
And not even be killed like that, to be honest.
Right, but anyway, I'm Ink T to the G, and I'm here with the
Chef Rosanna.
and we are done with this one. Sorry, thank you for tuning in with us for this reaction to Mr. Ballin, and this is the top 3 places you can't go, but people went anyway. Part 1.
Yeah.
There we go. Yeah. And we'll be back with another one. Thank you for tuning in with us. Don't forget to leave a like, comment, subscribe, share to be aware. Keep us in that algorithm because we need to be there, or we're trying to get there. You know how it goes. But anyway, we out of here. Peace.